Filmmaking World News tonight. We are helping our most watched newscast. Check the time. Enter. It's time to call 1-800-LAW-1010.
Are you ready to embrace carefree retirement living in a warm, welcoming community? Look no further than Covert Village. We thought of everything so you can live your best life with spacious apartments and cottages, chef prepared.
I'll call the meeting to order and ask everyone to rise and face the flag, please.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was beautiful. The next agenda item is open for public comments. This is anything that anyone wants to bring to our attention that's not on the agenda. Is there anything that anyone would like to talk about here this evening that's not on the agenda? Could you move to the podium, please?
I just thought of this, but the crosswalks in town, like by Ben and Jerry's, those two traffic lights, hardly any of them work. The audio portion, I'm visually impaired, and I press the button and I wait for it to tell me when to cross, because depending on the lighting, I can't always see the signal across the street. And either there's no volume, very low volume, or something is wrong with most of them. And it's been like that for a long time. I apologize.
Like that for a while, and did it used to work?
Yes,
Yes.
Probably in the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember hearing them.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get on. Did you tell her name? Did you give her your name, please?
Maury Hill, Maurie Hill.
Okay. I'll reach out to the vendor and get that fixed.
Any other comments or questions relating to items that are not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move into the agenda as proposed. Agenda item 3 is approval of minutes from the select board meeting of 9/16/2025.
To make a motion to approve the minutes from 9/16.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. We have, as I understand it, 1 liquor license application.
Correct. This is a new store, one of our formerly owned buildings, 301 Depot Street. And it's called Superette. I imagine you're here to talk about that, so go ahead.
Hey, Jeanette Weinberger. I am opening up a store, Superette, 301 Depot Street. Modern day general store. Really looking forward to that collection of retail and a little marketplace, family friendly operations with a nice selection of beer and wine for sale. in-store sales only, nothing online. And that's my goal, to open for Halloween weekend is kind of my big soft push there. So this is my last kind of final crossing my T's and dotting my I's.
Sounds interesting. Cool. You have Halloween candy?
I do, and I'm gonna have face painting, I'm gonna have pumpkin carving, and I'm looking at having a little mini petting zoo for everyone in Manchester to kind of come and hang out for that weekend.
I'll make a motion, or are you making it? Go ahead.
No, go.
No, I don't have it in front of me.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a second-class liquor license for Super Ed at 301 Depot Street.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
And one abstention, so that's 4-0, one abstention.
Thank you. I hope to
Katie.
see everyone. I'll be here soon to promote.
Terrific, that's great.
Thank you.
And I will now say that will be the final property, the final tenant to fill out those 3 buildings for the first time in close to 10 years.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good job.
It gets more exciting if you want to stay.
The next one,
Just stick around, it gets more exciting.
the next agenda item has generated a little discussion throughout the community. This is a possible ordinance change to ban sewer on and other similar e-bikes at the Manchester Recreation Park. We've received several complaints, and there have been a few incidents involving high-powered electric bicycles. We have some proposed language to the ordinance.
Right, so we talked about this at our last meeting, and you guys had brought up the part that you wanted to make sure that what we call class 1 bikes are exempt from this prohibition. And so we inserted that language. Basically, class 1 bikes are defined as an e-bike that provides assistance only when you pedal and stops assisting when you reach 20 miles per hour. So we added that in there. And that's really the only change we've had since last time, except for we added drones for other prohibited activities at the town park.
And I think drones were probably covered under remote control aircraft, but they're a lot more prevalent now.
Since we're making a change, it wouldn't hurt to throw in that.
Are drones permitted with permission from the Parks and Rec Director?
It could be.
It could
be, yeah.
Could be, yeah, there's actually some language.
At the end, there's some language allowing,
But-
disallowing that.
Prohibits drones or something.
Unless, you're right, yeah,
And then the,
right. I saw the drones and leisure activities,
you were on it.
yeah. And then I was.
But it says,
Put in danger of the public, but there was a.
there
section.
was some kind of disclaimer at some point.
I think it was down where I was.
It might have been under the vehicle.
Without permission. I don't know if that
That
includes.
does, yeah, that doesn't really relate back to the other section, but.
Yeah, section 424, item 3, it kind of says that nothing in this chapter will limit the manager and the Parks and Rec Director from promoting reasonable rules and regs and policies for the safe and effective management of the park system. So,
Perfect.
Oh, there it is.
So, discussion on the proposed change.
Hi,
Laura Lee?
yes, hi. My name is Laura Lee Bodo and this is my first select meeting, so I'm not sure exactly the format of speaking about this, but I did read on Facebook that this was a topic that was being discussed today. And I wanted to see if there was a consideration for disciplining those that are destroying or not respecting town property versus making an ordinance to ban an entire type of transportation. I've seen these around a lot, and I thought it was all kids as well, but I've recently seen little kids riding bikes. I've seen adults riding bikes that are of this matter. And I just feel that if you know, someone wants to go to the park to watch their kid play a sporting event or to go use the track and they're following the rules and they're just going in and they're parking their vehicle and they're using the park's facilities and not causing issues, are we like, you know, penalizing people who are upstanding citizens of this town and willing to take care of the facilities for a few individuals that are not?
That's a really good point, Lauralee, and we actually discussed that a little bit at our last meeting. What if somebody used one of these type of bikes to just get transportation to the park? And it's not our intent to discourage somebody from doing that. However, these types of bikes, Sewer-ons and others, according to the state of Vermont, are not registerable. So I'm not sure how they would get there legally in order to use it as transportation to get to the park. However, it was never intended to stop them from riding respectfully on the access road and parking the bike. It was riding it on the playing fields, on the skate park, and the other play areas.
And just
Yeah,
for
and
quick-
go ahead, sorry.
I just want to make sure this is clear. The ordinance change would not limit bikes which are pedal assisted. So if you have an e-bike that, you know, gives some assistance through, you know, by you pedaling and it gives you a little bit momentum, that's not prohibited by this ordinance change. We're talking about bikes which are non-pedal assisted, which have excessive speeds.
Yeah, I understand those bikes. My son has one and he uses it to get to school every day. And so there are kids that are not respecting property and are not doing the right thing on the road. There are. And he's struggling with helping to influence those kids to do the right thing so it doesn't ruin it for everybody else. But I see little kids that are also riding bikes like that. And I see adults. I've seen adults on the road more recently a lot on riding these vehicles because frankly, they're cheaper than buying a car. And you know, they're riding them the way that they would ride a bike. They're riding them with traffic. They have to obey the laws of traffic, but they're using them as an alternate mode of transportation when they can't afford a vehicle. So I just feel that taking those kids who are not doing the right thing and penalizing them versus everybody else who may be using or following the rules that are set forth are two different things.
So if I can jump in here, like we talked about last time, what we're banning is not what Lauralee is discussing. We're banning the high-powered Sur-Ron type of vehicles that are just battery operated and they're supercharged and they can cause serious damage to people in the park. Someone riding his little bike going slowly in the park is not going to be challenged with this ordinance.
Right, but that's exactly the bikes I'm talking about. So are there speed limits we can put in place or rules and regulations of no vehicles are allowed on the fields or in the skate park or no vehicles are allowed in certain areas? Because if you're riding through the park and parking in a parking spot to go use the facilities, or if you're riding.
Let me read the language so that we all understand what we're talking about, Lauralee, because I think we're all talking about the same thing. The specific paragraph reads, "It shall be unlawful to operate motor vehicles at town parks on walking paths, sidewalks, grass areas and fields, and other areas not designated for motor vehicle use without the permission of the Parks and Recreation Director."
Apologies.
Let me finish. This prohibition includes electric or e-bikes, including Sur-Ron or similar type of e-bikes. Class 1 bikes are exempt from this prohibition. Class 1 bikes are defined as an e-bike that provides assistance only when you pedal and stops assisting when you reach 20 miles an hour. Vehicles operated by town employees engaged in town-related functions shall be exempt from this section. Now, I think the first sentence needs particular attention because that was already part of our policy. It shall be unlawful to operate motor vehicles at town parks on walking paths, sidewalks, grass areas and fields, and other areas not designated for motor vehicle use.
Okay.
Now let me finish. This did not relate to e-bikes because under state law, they are not considered motor vehicles. So we wanted to include those, that they should not be ridden on grassed areas, walking paths, playing fields, that sort of thing, like any other motor vehicle. And so that's the attempt here. It's not to discourage people from using them for transportation if they can legally do so, to get to the park and to
Okay.
get into the park and use the access road and then park it. So I want
Okay.
to make sure that we all understand what we're talking about.
I understand now. I'm sorry, I didn't read that language. So you're specifically talking about those paths. So if somebody is using it, a parent or a sibling or anybody to get to the park and park it as a respectful citizen would do to go attend a game or to play on the field, that's fine. Riding your
Yes.
bike on the field or on the path or on the track or in the skate park is not okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a hand up, Ivan.
Yeah, Ben Wesley.
Hi, good evening. I think I brought this issue up a year or two ago, specifically about the skate park. I'm glad to see that you guys are trying to expand it throughout more of the park itself. I guess I was a little surprised to hear that you're allowing class 1 but not class 2 and 3. All 3 of those classes, are classified under state law as traditional bikes and have all the laws and regulations, associated with those, versus the Sur-Ron type bikes that don't have mechanical pedals, that would be powered under human power. Those, definitely are, not street legal. They can't be licensed. They can't be insured. I guess the question is why is there a ban on class 2 and 3 bikes as well?
Okay, that's a good question. Do we have the?
We have an answer, yes. Basically, it's enforcement. Without designating this type of class, police have difficulty realizing and recognizing who's violating the ordinance. And so we have to clearly designate a class 1 versus class 2 and class 3.
All right, so I guess I'm driving down the road. I'm a police officer, not really a police officer, but for the sake of argument, I'm a police officer. And I see someone on a class 1 bike and a class 2 bike. They both have a chain and pedals that, go around and around by your feet. How else are they going to easily or quickly discern a class 1 versus a class 2?
The class 2 will have a throttle.
Okay, but if their hand is on the handlebars, how are you going to see the throttle?
Well, like I said before, we're trying to prevent injuries. We're trying to prevent damage to the park. So
Yeah,
when we see
I totally, I
see
totally.
someone ripping up the park or riding on the skate park where little kids are at, then we can go and talk to them and look at their bike. And then if they're in violation, we can issue a citation.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I understand that. But just from a 5-second look at the bike, seeing pedals are going to be a lot easier than seeing a throttle.
Well,
They have.
We're really not going to get into bicycle profiling with this order.
Assist is part of the, pedal assist is part of the language, but I understand where you're coming from, Ben, because in theory, class 3 doesn't have a throttle.
Class 3 does not have a throttle, but it still has pedals.
Right, but it can go up to 28 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So,
I'm totally for banning the Sur-Rons, and I don't want to make this more difficult or really hold it up, but I just think it's hard enough classifying an e-bike versus an electronic motorcycle because they've been all over the place. There's 2 behind me on my way home from Shaw's this morning. No headlights, no mirrors, no turn signals. They were just cruising right along behind me. No pedals, obviously. I just think, honestly, like, I don't want to age profile people either, but, some of the older folks might use other class e-bikes as well. And if we're talking about, them coming to the park, we may want to allow them to use other class of bikes that are still, quote unquote, legal under state law to get to the park.
I'm going to tell you, Ben, if someone rides a class 2 bike to the park and is respectful and parks it and doesn't tear up the fields, they're not going to get in trouble.
Okay.
But I understand where you're coming from, but I think this was a starting point.
Yeah, I mean, everything's changing so quickly with all
Yeah.
that, so we just have
We
to,
could amend it again.
yeah, we could amend it again.
That's it.
And it's a good first step.
Yeah.
Look, I was a dirt biker as a kid. I'm still a dirt biker. I understand the excitement of power and speed and the excitement of being able to show off your talents, stunt riding and all that kind of thing. And the rec park is a good place to show off. And if I were to ride in there on my pretty high powered dirt bike and start pulling wheelies and carrying on, I think people would be upset pretty quickly. So, I understand it. I like these guys. I know most of them pretty well. And they're not bad people, but it's the combination of youth and power, that the power of the vehicle itself that combines to make for a dangerous situation, mostly for others, not for themselves.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with that. Again, a year or two ago when I brought the issue to the select board the first time about this, specifically the skate park, one of the issues was them riding on the skate park when our, 8 or 9-year-old son at that time was trying to skate. Those multi-100-pound bikes can easily severely, hurt anyone. So again, I'm glad it's expanding. Has there been discussion on enforcement either at the park or just in general with these bikes? Again, not being street legal, I'm seeing them on Main Street. I'm seeing them on Union Street. I'm seeing them on Richville Road. Is there any way that we can educate the general public that these are not street legal and XYZ consequences will happen if they get pulled over, if these teenagers are respectful enough to pull over when they see blue lights behind them?
The police are well aware of the issue, and there was actually a ticket issued a few weeks ago to a Sur-Ron rider. So the community, the people that ride those bikes are starting to get the idea that that the whole town is not a playground.
Okay.
It's
all right. What about?
I think it's moving in the right direction.
What about? I mean, I'm gonna ask this question because MEMS is also, town property. I would assume. Are they allowed to ride them to school? Again, I'm asking about the Sur-Rons, the not street legal bikes versus the e-bikes.
I'm gonna rein this in a little bit. I should have stated the rules before we started. People are allowed to speak once to an issue. You have a 5-minute time limit because this is just one agenda item. But
okay, fair enough. Thank you.
No, but I want to answer your question. We have authority and control over the town parks. We do not have authority and control over the school. That falls under the purview of the school district. So
Okay.
Any rules that would apply to their property would be by them and not by us.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ben.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that people get a chance to speak or ask questions. Is there anybody else who wants to speak to the potential language that we're going to insert into the Parks and Rec?
Does a regular bicycle have a class? Just a bike, or is that just a bicycle?
Regular bicycles have no class.
I teed that up. I'm sure, yeah, nice hit. So but the reason I ask is class 1 seemed like a regular bike, and then class 1 e-bike is a designation. And so anyway, the point being is bicycles are not prohibited.
Bicycles are not, and bicycles are not prohibited from riding on the road. Electronic assist bicycles, such as class 1 and perhaps even others, are legal on the road. But
can regular bicycles go around the what do they call that? The walking path, the mile loop?
Yes.
Yeah. So by not including it, I think we're being quite clear, actually.
yeah, this section is all about prohibition,
Right.
not about inclusion. So If you're driving a motor vehicle, you're not allowed to do that. If you're driving a high-powered electronic e-bike such as a Suron, you're not
Yeah.
allowed to do that. And we, just to make it clear, we made class one bikes, the cutoff point.
Mhm.
That could change.
We can amend it.
Yeah, we can amend it. I think this is a good first stab at it.
We need a motion to adopt this.
Yes, we do.
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance change regarding bicycles or e-bikes and Suron bicycles at the rec park.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous, and
Second, Ivan for his
ordinance changes. When does that take effect?
right now. As soon as you sign that.
The next agenda item, Scott, is to review and possibly approve personnel policy changes.
Yeah, so I mean, we made changes last October 1st. And this is basically a living, breathing document of changes over time as change. So Katie's put together the summary of changes for you. Basically, most of them are boilerplate language that we needed inserted. An at-will employer disclaimer, additional rights to organize and bargain collectively language, reasonable accommodations for pregnancy-related conditions, fingerprint background checks for some parks and rec summer camp roles. That section 11 rarely happens. If it was a snow day that had to close the building, then employees wouldn't have to use their paid time off for that day. Cell phone usage while operating town vehicles and assets that hadn't been in there. Social media, which is a big thing. We had to put some language in to protect the town and also the individual's rights. Seasonal employees working on part-time, their pay was slightly skewed, so we corrected that. Section 25 is that vacation period breakdown, and this was changed moderately to reflect competitive circumstances outside of the municipal employees, and also to keep pace with the union contract that we just negotiated. Carryover incentive pay, just changed a little bit of language there. Language that states that sick time is used for calculating overtime and comp time. So that had been done historically before this last personnel policy had been approved. And actually, for two departments, DPW and water wastewater, it had continued through that. And also the union contract has that in there. So in order to keep pace with that, we offered this change in language to match that, basically. Whistleblower protection, new language, and then the healthcare and dental insurance. So right now we pay 95% of healthcare and 90% of dental, and the union has bumped up to 97,100 for each, and so we're adding that change in also. So those are the changes that we're proposing tonight.
Any questions on the changes? Comments?
A lot of work.
Yeah.
It's ongoing, we'll be back probably another year or two with some additional changes unless something big crops up in the meantime.
But a lot of this is just getting it so that the union employees and the non-union employees have consistent.
Close, yeah.
Makes sense.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve the personnel policy update dated October 2025 as discussed, as presented. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. So, evolve, thank you. Everybody can sign that one, so.
We're not going to, field agenda item 8 this evening because there are no errors and omissions that I know of. So we'll move on to agenda item 9, slowly as people sign this document as it comes down through, which is an update on the Jamaican cuisine ending ordinance violations.
So we've kind of been around and around in this one. And kind of reached dead end at this point. So I sent a memo you have a memo in your packet explaining the different violations and the status of them. And
Dave, you're next. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little word before, but you guys.
We were going to appoint,
Say thank you for addressing that.
we were going to appoint you to the DRB.
That's what I'm getting out.
So we've been around with issuing violation notices to Evan Brownie at the Jamaican Cuisine Food Truck. And then we actually went out there and visited him again I did along with the zoning department. And you'll see on most of those violations, they can be corrected or have been corrected already. But basically the piece that we're running up against is the generator. He cannot operate without a generator and refuses to pay the amount, which is substantial, to connect to a nearby electrical telephone pole. And so we're at an impasse. We either can go and start issuing fines, daily fines, or we could, I would like to make a suggestion that, we're at the end of the season, basically. And if we can get these other ones corrected, I'd like to sit down with the zoning department and review these ordinances, these vending licenses, and come back to you in the winter. Because we'd like some guidance.
So he's open year round, just.
He's open year round.
I had a thought, though. Could you work with the property owner to get him, I mean, to me, I feel like if there's some heat from another source other than us to kind of get this in compliance, can we work with a property owner and just say, we got to get this?
We could try that. I think if you remember originally, his plan was to run an electric extension cord outside of that
Yeah,
fireplace
yeah.
place, but then that didn't work out for some reason. And then now he's got the generator. So we can attempt that.
Let's try that before anything crazy.
Okay, all right.
Does Hound Dogs use a generator?
I want to say no. All right. There's been occasions that there might be a generator running, but that's what we want to talk about. We want to come back and discuss this in the winter before January 1st happens, when the new vending season starts. Because we want to review these. We want it more clear cut, enforceable or unenforceable.
The other vendors that are in compliance,
That's
just
right.
honestly,
That's
like,
right. And we have made variations, allowances for certain ones.
yeah.
And now you open that door and now it seems to be more and more people looking for that type.
But I agree, it's end of the season. If we could figure out a way to kind of bridge.
Bridge this gap with him for now and then come up with clear enforcement.
Yeah, and maybe work with the town, with the owner of the property and just say, if there's somebody on your property that's in violation of all these ordinances, there's got to be some blowback for the property owner that's allowing them to be on the property.
Right. I think we can do that, Heidi. I just want to come back to you guys before the new year starts.
I like that idea. Is the ban on generators, what's the foundation and the base for that? Generators, some generators are extremely quiet and so I don't know what that might be. Carl.
We can't hear you. People can't, Carl, people can't hear you. They need to go to the podium.
I do a lot
Well, that's much better.
do a lot of camping, and sometimes people have generators that are so loud and obnoxious. Other folks have generators you can barely hear. So to me, I would think the issue is how many decibels is a generator and is it bothering anybody?
Thank you.
Thanks, I've witnessed that myself, that some of them you can be right next to them and you can't really hear them. I know they're a little bit more expensive, but not terribly so.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the battery. pack
But
systems.
I think the foundation for the ban of generators was noise,
Yeah,
I suspect.
Sure. Like when we have Street Fest, there's one or two generators being used there that are very loud.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll address his generator issue,
When it comes to that sort of thing.
our own worst offenders.
There's another thing on here that I think I was interested in. One was the difference between a tent and a gazebo. Okay, so let's, in addition to generators, let's define a gazebo or a tent.
Sure. I mean,
Square footage of all kinds of things, but we gotta just if we make a decision, it has to be fair to everybody. It can't
Correct.
continue to be
right.
accepted.
And we do have people that, we do have vendors that really care and try to stay within the rules. Yeah.
Getting back to the tent and the gazebo, if you don't allow a tent, why would you allow a gazebo? I mean, a gazebo seems like more.
I understand that. We talked about it. It was a tongue-in-cheek comment by him, I believe. And he did say at the end of that, he could dismantle all.
Yeah,
So we would go with that.
okay. Good job, by the way. I mean, this is an ongoing discussion.
Thank you.
We want it to work, but it has to work for everyone.
It does. You're absolutely right.
It has to be fair.
Yeah, it's, some people spend a lot of money to get into compliance and it's just.
Yeah, $6,000 is nothing to somebody who did a bricks and mortar restaurant.
Okay, thank you for that. That's certainly moving in the right direction. Scott, tell us about small cell canister antennas.
Item.
Oh, the purchasing policy, we missed it.
Missed it.
Oh, I checked that out before. Yep, sorry. Let's go back
it's like, wow, we're moving along quick.
to purchasing policy.
We're all still.
Review possible changes.
That's a new one.
They all have copies. That you offered this time around.
It's like,
This different from what you brought earlier in the year? Yes. They should have had this in their packets when I distributed it.
Well, I put the language, the purchasing policy paragraph in there.
Yeah. Well, we have,
we also have a digital copy of
The
it.
attachments.
provide.
We talked about this already.
The word shall, was that the?
Yeah.
So Carl, if you have any other stuff like this, please give it to me before the meeting so I can distribute it with the packets. Thank you.
Everything is essentially the same, except I put the first
I sent
paragraph.
them your previous language. So they have a copy of that and they have a copy of the current. So they can compare them. Now they've got just on top of it.
Maintenance, six, the ability to be recycled. Repurposed, it looks like the same language.
Okay, good.
This looks like the same language as what we were saying.
And I just didn't want any confusion when you discuss it.
In the agenda, it says the Energy Committee is asking for a new paragraph. We're just asking for one sentence to be added to the first paragraph. And that's the one that's in italics, on the top.
Thank you for clarifying.
So we have discussed this, and all seven of us on the Energy Committee are in total agreement that this policy makes sense. And when you purchase a piece of equipment or a vehicle, there are a lot more factors than just the price. And the purchasing policy already mentioned some of those, like the history you've dealt with the vendor. So basically, the addition of one sentence, the Energy Committee recommends, is simply asking each department head to do due diligence when shopping to buy or replace any vehicle or piece of equipment. So each potential purchase should consider the lifespan of the item and then calculate the total operating and maintenance cost over that time span. And our opinion, if all things being equal, we recommend choosing the electric option because of many auxiliary benefits, some of which I listed below. Operating costs is a huge difference. I got this from the internet. I'm no expert on commercial mowers. But 2 years ago, Jim Hand organized Greenworks, showed up at the rec. And this guy had the statistics. And the savings per year were unbelievable. So again, this is from the internet, $500 to $800 a year for an electric versus $4,000 to $11,000 for gas. So it seems to me if you're buying an electric one for, let's say, $25,000 and a gas-powered one for 5 years, you're equal. A 10-year lifespan, you're saving a lot of money. And that's just the cost. The other issue is, to me, maintenance. I have an electric car. I've had it 4.5 years. I've had one problem with it, a bearing. I replaced it, boom. I never go to the shop, ever. And the same with my lawnmower. It's electric. I had a Husqvarna, I had Toros before that. The noise was really getting to me. And every time I tipped my lawnmower over, take the blade out to sharpen it, I'd have to bring it to Brown's to have the carburetor work. The difference in the maintenance is unbelievable. Oil, gas, air filters, gas filters. And the other issue in maintenance with the ease and availability of the shops, as you know, there are fewer and fewer people going into the trades, and especially mechanics. It's going to be harder to find people to work on these things. And the skill level required to operate battery-operated mower or anything, chainsaw, much different. Environmental factors, you got noise, which is a huge difference. When I had my gas-powered mower, I would have to have earphones on, and I would still, every few months, bring it to Brown's, like, are you sure the muffler is working right? So, yep. And then the air pollution, we're talking small particulate matter, not greenhouse gas emissions, but small particulate. That is, the operator is breathing that. And then, yeah, greenhouse gas emissions, it does make a difference. I couldn't believe this. 1 hour running a gas mower is equivalent to an SUV driving 23,000 miles. It's ridiculous. But the ease of operation, ease of handling is astonishing different. You push a button and it goes. The lighter weight, so they're more maneuverable, easy to move around. The operators don't smell gas and exhaust fumes. And then winterizing, there's nothing to do with an electric option. Literally nothing. There's no fluid to drain. There's no gas to worry about getting stale, nothing. And reliability, same thing. No carburetor to flood, no condensation in the gas, no stale gas, no clogged filters, nothing. So again, it just comes down to whoever's going to buy something for the town should look into the full cost, not just the purchase price. And really, all things being even close to equal, go for the electric option. So that's why we're recommending this, adding one sentence to the opening paragraph.
What's the difference between riding a riding mower that we might use, the cost between an electric and a gas? I mean, nobody can refute those numbers. It's just, I think it comes down to how much you're going to spend up front for the electric maintenance mower that our DPW might use, something, bigger.
I think it's a big difference.
Yeah.
I think it's like, $5,000, $7,000 for gas, 20,000 up to 25,000. I'm talking 60-inch.
I came at the bigger.
60-inch commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'm telling you, this Greenworks guy he blew me away.
Be a 5-year amortization in the payback from the savings.
Right.
So,
Right. Right, exactly.
If you look at some of the electric options, if the rule of thumb is if someone's warranting battery or something for 5 years, that means they're sure it's going to last 10 years. It's kind of like double the warranty.
No, this is really thoughtful. I appreciate all the work you did on this. I don't think it doesn't tie us to any decision, but I think it gives more guidance in terms of how to look at it, whether it's the short-term purchase price or the longer-term proposition of the owning that and operating that particular vehicle. So I
Well,
don't,
I think the conversation last time centered around the word shall, which is a clearly definitive word that says you must.
but it shall
But that-
include consideration.
That's where I'm headed.
Sorry.
It says it shall include consideration, which is,
Right.
okay, we're going to consider these things. It doesn't bind us. So,
You shall think.
all written, I think it's, something that we should be considering. And we thank you for that.
And again, I would assume most of your department heads are doing this already.
Well, they may be interested in your numbers.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the inserting the sentence to the purchasing policy for the town of Manchester.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's 5-0 again. Sorry, I skipped over it. Yeah. Is this under that agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And very quickly, if any of the purchasing decisions need some input from the Energy Committee, we'd be very happy to provide that input.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, now we can get down on small cell canister antennas.
So, we've received a 60-day advance notifications for 3 poles in town. And these are FCC regulated replacement of poles. The town cannot oppose it, and basically it's already cited, as Merrill said, check with her also. These are already cited, so the town does not have a legal basis to oppose it. And basically replacing one pole with another pole, but the other pole has these canisters on top, which helps provide added capacity for the provider. So I just wanted you to be aware of it because we received the note, advance notice, and I know the village has received 1 or 2 also.
And there's one of these currently across from Orvis.
Yeah.
And I just looked up the addresses just to see, one's on Highland, well, on Barnumville, just past Highland. The other is right out here in front of Casablanca Motel. And the third is in front of Taconic Psychiatry by Stewart's.
Are these repeaters? Do they?
No, they're actual antennas.
They don't use each other to,
No, they're not like a
Or
mesh or
the
anything like that, no.
because it'd be nice if they put one closer to us on Ormsby Hill.
Well, that might be in the village.
I don't think it still doesn't.
Oh, that's true. It wouldn't make it all the way down there.
So they're replacing existing ones with.
It's replacing poles, regular poles.
Oh, with.
But the canisters on top of these new poles.
The antennas.
Oh, okay.
And the canisters are about 2 feet tall and
They
much
kind of
more.
blend in.
They're not,
I tried to include a picture there from somewhere.
there's a picture of a pole with one on it, and I think there was a picture of the canister. Yeah, right there.
And is the reason why it's FCC mandated is because of this, the National Public Safety Broadband
I
Network?
would assume so, yeah.
So so basically we have to make it so that if there's an emergency, they can
Yeah, they're,
make a cell phone call.
first responders use this all the time.
Except for people on Purdy Hill who are, not gonna get any signal. It's okay, we're fine. All right, we'll run to the fire department. You might put a good word in for us.
So this is an informational piece.
Correct.
No action required.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, you may.
These are, the capacity is increasing. Is the strength of signal changing? Or are they just swapping out kind for like kind?
No, so right now, there's nothing at these locations.
Except telephone pole.
It's just a telephone pole. It would increase the.
Pulling out an existing pole which has no antenna on it and replacing it with a pole that will support an antenna. on it.
For an antenna, but they're not putting an antenna on
They're
it.
putting in little antennas.
Putting in the antenna.
Canister.
Which do not exist next.
It's 2 feet tall and
There's one across, there is one across.
Picture.
I'm just wondering if for people that are concerned about EMF radiation, these are new
they're new.
antennas.
Yep.
The canisters.
They don't
sit
exist
On
now.
top of the telephone pole, right?
Okay.
So taking out the old pole, putting in this new one that has that on top of it.
And adding transmitters and receivers.
Are any, are they, what zone are those all in, just out of curiosity? Are they all in like?
M2. Well, yeah,
I
there'd be
think probably
M2 on
there.
Main Street,
Right.
and then the one on Barnumville would be our,
I think it's.
but regardless, they're, we, the health concerns, as a board, we couldn't use that as a reason anyway,
But zoning could be a reason.
but we can't oppose them because they are FCC regulated.
With no legal basis to oppose them anyway.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
Yeah.
And there's just three of them, right? Town manager updates?
Yeah, we were looking at some of the specifications on this. I'm not seeing what the bandwidth is. Oh, there it is.
DB.
Yeah, it means nothing to me. It might mean something to somebody else. Okay, town manager updates.
Just a few, you have a copy of the letter from Julie about the Special Olympics coin drop. They had a very successful coin drop and they wanted to thank us.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And they were very respectful. Again, I think I went through there a couple times and there was, I think one of our concerns was also like the safety of the kids actually in the road, and they had, I would say adults or older children that were kind of guarding from each direction. So it was it seemed like a lot of fun.
It was a little bit more of a delay than in the past. I don't know if anybody was upset, but it was fun to make a donation and get their feedback, and they were very enthusiastic, and they were on the corners beyond. It was great, but it was a little bit bigger coin drop than from the past.
They got some money.
Great.
Success.
And they're going to represent.
Yeah, and
Vermont.
the University of Minnesota, represent Vermont in June next year. So. We're preparing for tax sales scheduled for January 23rd, but that's a very tentative date. Things keep getting pushed back. The state has added additional requirements that are more difficult to get to the actual tax sale. We're right now already down to 6 properties. Sure, by the time we get down there, it will be a lot lower than that here. And the DRB opening, you have a copy of Catherine Stewart's resignation. We've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people interested in the position. So if Greg and Heidi want to organize some interviews, we can set that up for you.
Is that committee still the same committee after we reorganized, after the board reorganization, or should we?
That's in perpetuity.
Oh, thanks. The rest of our lives.
Perpetuity.
Working so well.
That's in
I wouldn't say it's working that great. We have
It's a feet a minute.
Okay, so 5 people, can we get them all in on the same day and just burn through them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I work with you, Katie, on that?
That's all I have.
All right. Is there any other business here at the table?
Things, Scott, I don't remember where this came up, but we were there was a concern. I've had a couple of people come to me about the lighting at Shaw's in its color temperature. And I know that's a relatable thing for, DAB. But how would we go about looking into that? Because it's like,
Purple.
It is yeah, it's almost like you're in Twilight Zone.
Is Shaw's parking lot in the village?
No,
So, okay, then we can deal with it.
yeah, because I'm
Alright,
pretty
so-
sure our line cuts right through the produce section. If I remember right. Because the addition that they put on 10 years ago was in the village, if I recall. So it almost seems like in the dark of night, they came in and they put in these, I'm sure they're high efficient bulbs, but they certainly are really, really.
It'll be, do we know if there were specs on the lighting in their permit?
Well, that's the route I'm gonna go to check.
Yeah. Because if there were, they can't change the lighting without getting an amendment, but,
The other question I had was, do we have any idea if we're going to be closer on target to getting audit now that we're into the next cycle? Like, do we see?
I can't promise anything. Yeah, we can't get any promises. We've indicated how much we want it done earlier.
Okay.
And I will keep pushing for that. They did get an early jump on it this year.
Yeah,
They've
good,
already been here. So
good.
the last time they weren't here till like November for the first. So.
And we do have an opening, and I know I need to get you the resignation. We have a resignation from the Housing Task Force. Cindy Luce has stepped down. So we do have an opening coming available on that as well. Cindy is going to be focusing more on the work for Habitat.
I just want to echo that lighting concern. It's like going into the set of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's literally waiting for the spaceship to arrive. Have you been
should
there?
we wear tinfoil hats?
Oh, good idea.
We'll look into that.
Okay, any other business?
It should be.
Yeah. We do have an executive session planned. I don't see any action coming out of this executive session. So, we'll conclude any of the public part of the meeting now. We will come out of executive session to close the meeting, but that'll be the only action that we take. You're welcome to stick around for that, but
Can we have motion and vote? We need to vote to go into executive.
we'll get that.
Okay.
All right. And I just wanted to, technically, after we approve the motion, we shouldn't have more discussion. So I just wanted to say what we're doing if we go into executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for a purpose of which I'm not privy at the moment.
It's
Real estate
Order to.
contract.
it is
Right on them.
for negotiating or securing real estate, one VSA 313A2.
What you said.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we are in executive session.
Premature disclosure, which was the.
You can just do